Hello, my Fox Nights. Again, I'm Fox, and it is episode 3 and 4 of Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Which, I just want to reiterate this every time in the beginning of these episodes. Disney, I am watching this through a third party because I don't want to necessarily be supporting Disney all that time right now because they have been doing some transphobic shit because of cutting two episodes from two different shows because of certain party winning elections. So, not necessarily wanting to support this much. I'm more watching this just simply because I was asked to, and because I heard it's a pretty good, decent Spider-Man movie or show. Hopefully Disney will, but also Disney is a bit wishy-washy certain things. Also, not to mention the voice actor for this said like, I didn't want the show to be too woke. God. And mind you, Spider-Man's best friend is gay, and there's, anyways, beside the point. Pretty much just want to say that out there before I continue, because I want to make certain if I am going to be reviewing Disney stuff, I'm going to go ahead and say about the horrible shit they're doing. So, anyway, some of the horrible shit they're doing. There's a lot more. But mind you also, they did try it seems to be back and forth with certain things. Again, this show is pretty great, and, has woke stuff in it, which, yeah, great. That's good. Anyways, and then Captain America, one of the... Anyways, beside the point. Let's get to this. Episode 2 and... Episode 3 and 4, which, let me see here. I gotta remember exactly. Also, I need to bring up a few things. One, I like how they were able to give both Harry Osborn as well as Norman Osborn their black and red hair, but making it like waves or dreads or whatever, curly. I'm like, alright, that's pretty funny. And then also on top of that, I like that, another thing, because I want to bring up this, because I kind of didn't bring it up in the last two episodes, and I forgot because I was dealing with a bunch of other stuff. Lonnie Lincoln, who I believe does become Tombstone, whole arc is that he comes from a lower class family. Even at this point, like him, I think it was the episode 3, where his brother gets into shit because he's part of a gang, and Lonnie pretty much has to step up and be like, let my brother go out of the gang, I'll join the gang in his place. And I'm like, okay. Like, holy shit, that sucks so badly. But yeah, Lonnie Lincoln's, they think, like, the police looking at him, too, like, are you a thief or some shit like that. Lonnie has a lot of shit, and it is showing how he's gonna go down the path of being a bad guy, or becoming a criminal. He's not necessarily a bad guy, but technically speaking, Spidey's a vigilante, which is also a criminal. Anyways, last episode 2, they did bring up that Norman knows that Peter's Spider-Man. And he actually does bring up how all of this kind of occurred, where, Spider-Man saved Harry, and because of him saving Harry Osborn, he then started trying to figure out who Spider-Man was. Then seeing all of the technology from the wrist shooters, from the web shooters to the webbing itself on top of other things. He's like, okay, well, he has to be smart. And he's not working for my company, so he has to be new. If this guy has to be helped by somebody who's smart and also new, and I don't have working for me. And that's when he made the initiative program where he thought the 4 different, the 4 interns, Peter, Asha, I believe, the girl from Wakanda, Gentry Cho, or what the hell his name is, I can't remember his name, and the other one, can't remember that one, where they're actually, those were like, quote-unquote, people he theorized were the ones helping Spider-Man, only until the video evidence happened did he then find out that, the great show, God, how did I forget Peter goddamn Parker? I'm like, I know there's a 4th one, which one was it? Right, Peter. Cho, Asha, wait, no, was that right? Maybe I did it. Was it Peter, Cho, Asha? Oh, right. No, I did miss one. There was the other one that said she'd forget Peter. In any case, Yeah, those four. Those four are the most likely. And then when he saw the camera, he's like, "Oh, you are Spider-Man!" And then pretty much we then have Peter and Norman kind of figuring stuff out a bit. Like, first off, like, Norman rents out an entire... Peter kind of runs off. Eventually, him and Norman go to dinner, and Norman brings up, and he, like, buys out the entire place, and Peter eats is probably $1,000 worth of food. And he tells Peter, like, "Look, I'll keep your secret." And Peter says, like, I can't let anyone else in on this. It'll get you hurt. It'll get Aunt May hurt. It'll get other people hurt. Which, again, I said it last time, I hate the goddamn secret identity shit, and this is, quote-unquote, trying to, not rectify it, but try to give it a reason, like, oh, he wants to keep a secret identity, it'll hurt others. I'm like, you're gonna hurt more people, you're gonna hurt your loved ones more not telling your secret identity than you would telling them. Like, anyways, so that was Peter's whole thing. Norma says, "Well, I want you to stay on an intern. Here's a shit ton of money." And also, like, when Peter eventually goes home, he sees, like, Aunt May's planning to sell Uncle Ben's stuff, so that way they could try to make some money because there's a bunch of past due dates. And Peter's like, "All right, I'm probably gonna stay on with the internship because I need the money for it." Which also, it feels a little backtracky a little bit. It's weird because, again, the last two episodes, there's a point where Peter first hears about the internship, and Aunt May literally is like, "Hey, ask about the money." Like, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then, in this episode, like, his friend, Miko, I think her name was Miko, shit, tells him, like, you know, Aunt May wouldn't want you working for Norman if she knew you were doing it only for the to help pay for, this. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe from the last episode would be okay if it, at least for the money, especially because it was something. Anyways, beside the point. Yeah, that was kind of weird. I'm like, okay, like, I feel like you're trying to have your cake and eat it too a little. It's weird. All right, whatever. Eventually, Peter does accept not only staying on as an intern, but also Norman's help at being Spider-Man. Which then we get a mix of we get Peter pretty much like there was a time, I believe it was after Civil War, which I think this technically lines up because this literally happens after Civil War with the Sokovia Accords. Oh wait, I think that got brought up too. I'm trying to remember what was the last episode. I watched half of it, one episode yesterday and one today. Lonnie's life. Norman did start an internship to find Spider-Man, even narrowing down to the four chosen. Norman wanting to help Spider-Man with anything. Spider-Drone. Oh yeah, he says, "No, we can't give your suit a Spider-Drone. That would be weird." Because they eventually work together and Norman decides to make new suits for Peter. Which, again, there was shit being thrown at MCU Peter and Spidey and Tony online, which I'm like, you idiots. Because a big thing, like, obviously is that Norman is manipulating Peter. And they say, like, well, Tony's was the exact same. Not really. I wouldn't say so. Tony did like the kid. I definitely do say Peter was supposed to be Tony Stark's legacy. Like, I legit, before No Way Home, which I kind of hate the ending of. I like the movie itself. The ending I hate. I legit would have thought at the very end, Peter would have became the new head of Stark Industries. Like, I feel like that was what was kind of being set up. And honestly, I would have liked that. I like the idea of Peter pretty much being this Tony Stark's adopted son. I like that. It's a cool thing. I think that's pretty badass. And another reason I like this also is another thing that this shows, because throughout this, he's getting multiple different suits, which, again, Peter was trying to hide who he was, so he wore different suits, being like the Wasp, the freaking gliding one with the Panther claws, which that one was really funny when he pops in with that suit. I'm like, alright, that's pretty good. Or, and also FYI for anyone who hates Peter being Tony's son in this, and like, that's not how comic book Peter would be. No shit, this is a different version of Peter. Batman doesn't smile, but he smiles in The Batman because he's not this movie, the animated 2003 badass show. Because he's cool. He's Bruce Wayne is the mask, while Batman is the actual Bruce. Not in 2003 Spider-Man or Batman, because in that one, Batman and Bruce are the same person in that sense. They are flipping back and forth constantly. Like, anyways, beside the point, this show. Yeah, like, I liked that. But the thing is also that I like is that Peter says, like, he wants to be like Tony. He wants to be like Tony and all that stuff. And Tony, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong. Tony just says, like, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be better. I want you to be better than me. And on that note, too, and again, this shows the difference between Tony, quote-unquote, raising Peter and Norman raising Peter. Tony knew that Peter had to be himself and learn from himself and built off of that. Like, again, like, say what you will about Peter getting the Stark suit from Tony, or, also, like, Peter developing his own suit using Tony's tech is not Tony making the suit. It's a giant freaking, sewing machine. It's a giant sewing machine, and Peter is the one who worked on it to make the different suit shit. And also, everything that was developed for the Spider-Man from there is based off of Peter's technology. Beside the point, again, Tony never tried to change Spider-Man. He wanted Spider-Man to be better as himself. That's why, if I remember, I don't think the Iron Spider suit had repulsors in it. I don't think it did. Because even, like, the 616 Spider-Man, I believe his Iron Spider suit had repulsors in it. I don't believe MCU one had repulsors. Because, and I'm going to go ahead and guess, because Tony knew that wasn't Peter. He knew Spider-Man is web-slinging. He knew Spider-Man is obviously using tech, but also being smart and using all his skills with it. And eventually, yeah, Tony did go overboard with certain system things, but also he knew that Peter would eventually be able to actually use those things because they're fit within his wheelhouse, within his abilities. Norman is not that. Norman straight makes him a suit like that looks like Thor, but has a giant cape on it, which will mess up with, his acrobatics. He at one point gets stuck on a railing, nearly hanging himself, and then gets beaten the shit like a piñata. Like, it's not the great, like, that suit wasn't great. Then you have the Wasp suit, where, again, it's him flying around, where Peter's like, that's not how I do things. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, freeze your hands out for your stingers. He's like, what do you mean by stingers? And he has, like, freaking little missiles on his wrist. I'm like, that's not Peter. That's not Peter. And then you have, like, the Black Panther-like suit with the gliding thing, and I'm like, okay, that's more in line with Peter. A little bit more Black Panther, obviously. And honestly, him bringing an Avenger kind of thing, like, not like Avengers, but like I'm an Avenger, Batman style. Like, that would fit, that suit would probably fit really well. Even has the glidey wing things that pretty much Peter will eventually have in some of his suits. That'll work. But that doesn't really work, but the colors and being dark and everything, and him wanting to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not necessarily going to work out. Then eventually, Norman completely ignores Peter's whole thing. Actually, if anything, this shows a really good example of it too. When Tony developed Peter's spider suit, the first suit, the Stark suit, he went off of Peter's original, homemade suit. He went off the color scheme. He went off the eye thing. He learned what Peter needed, and then he made the suit for Peter's needs. Like, even this suit where, yes, the Future Foundation suit, which one, yes, is not freaking whatever, I believe made by the Fantastic Four. Again, this isn't 616 Peter. This is Earth 199999.9, I guess, or 0.1, whatever. the decimal is for like the branching timeline. I know they did that for 616. I believe it was like 616.1 or 2 when Spider-Gwen went to the time travel / multiverse traveled, and she actually met up with her 616 self and prevented her death. And like that switched the timeline from that point on, branching it off. This suit, though it does fit way more into Spidey's wheelhouse, and obviously looks more like a Spider-Man suit, because technically it is a Spider-Man suit. Like, it obviously is lacking Peter's bright red, bright blue. It looks good, don't get me wrong. If they straight said, oh yeah, this is a synthetic symbiote, I'd be like, holy shit, that's cool. I love Superior Iron Man's, man, I can't remember if it was like Mach 50 or Mach 51 suit. I can't remember which one it is. But Superior Spider-Man's one where his suit is literally a synthetic symbiote. I'm like, holy shit, that's cool. If this was a symbiote or something, that'd be badass. Right now, it's I think it's just cloth suit or whatever. But yeah, Peter gets this suit, which is, I guess, going to kind of be the basis for everything else after it. But he uses this suit as his new suit. It seems like this is the winner, because he's eventually able to, like, after the Rhino and like a few other guys, which I'm sure there are other villains. Also, I forgot to mention, well, I'll bring it up later. But anyway, so after they bust through and he comes in with this suit wearing it. Also, there's a ton of different callbacks stuff. Like, there's a point where Spider-Man does like the hand against the gravel when he swings. There's this like Spider-Man, 3 shot right here, and there's a few other stuff like that, but like little tidbits like that, I like that. Also, like, every opening intro card is like a different comic book cover, which I'm like, all right, cool, like an actual cover, an homage. But yeah, this suit's nice. This suit is pretty badass, and like this suit also is fireproof. When he starts saving people and saves them real quick, he's like, oh, don't worry, I got to break some stuff. There's a guy who's like caught by fire. He jumps through, and like he's like, oh shit, I'm fireproof. Saves the guy, gets him out, really good. And eventually he webs back to Oscorp Tower and goes, look, Mr. Oscorp, this suit is amazing, it's great. And then Oscorp's like, and then Harry's like, oh, you're Spider-Man. And it's like, oh shit. And I like that too. Like again, like, obviously he hasn't told Miko yet, or Nico, I can't remember her name, sorry, yet, or anyone else. But I do kind of like that Harry knows that he's Spider-Man, even though we haven't seen much interaction between those two. But there is still, again, someone he can at least confide in with his things. And eventually this will lead, hopefully, to other stuff as well. Also, it's just like, oh, you just found out, whatever. But yeah, so, yeah. Also, spoilers, I guess. Apparently, it's been announced that season 2 of this show is going to have Spider-Gwen in it. And some people are losing their damn minds. And I'm just thinking, holy shit, Spider-Gwen! Because I like Spider-Gwen. That's why she's there, because she's a popular character, and I like it. Also, another thing I actually want to bring up about this, which also, I'll get to the main stuff later, but one thing I like about this show versus I think it's the 2017 show, where Peter looks like Dipper from Gravity Falls, because that one, I didn't like the Spider-Gwen in that one. That Spider-Gwen was kind of ass, as well as a few of the characters in there, but one of my biggest issues with that show was that everyone was kind of a genius, and that kind of sucked. This one, even though apparently he's going to a school that's supposed to be for geniuses, Midtown High, not everyone seems to be a genius. Like, Peter even looking at, and maybe that's a little bit of poor writing, I don't know, but when he tells Lonnie, like, oh yeah, no, this with that, and Lonnie's like, oh no, I understand all this, and I'm like, shouldn't you think he's smart because he's in this school for geniuses, supposedly? But then apparently Peter is still above them, at least within intelligence. And then you have characters like the 4 interns, where then now they have people on some similar level to Peter of mentality. I'm like, okay, that's pretty, it's a good way to kind of differentiate that a bit. Because it was weird that you had, like, all of his friends gain spider power some way, and then all of them had, all of them were geniuses already. It's like, what, like, you're kind of stepping on, this guy, on Peter's parade there a little bit. Come on now. I will say, though, another missed opportunity for that 2017 show version. Although I like the show. Is Electro in that one? I think Electro in that one. The design for her was great. They should have gave Spider-Gwen the symbiote after she lost her powers, the Spider Island storyline and all that. That legit would have been the first time in a comic book history that she got that. Also, stop giving Spider-Gwen organic webs too. What the hell is wrong with you people? Stop it. If she has organic webs, it's because she's of her symbiote. It's not because she has powers of organic webs. If anything, her web shooters are pretty badass because her web shooters actually absorb water from the air and turns those into webs. How does that work? I don't freaking know, but it's cooler than freaking giving her organic webs. Anyway, case. Let's see. Also, I legit went when Harry when I saw Harry, I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so yeah, so this literally happens during Captain America Civil War. I think that is the opening of that. So I guess Tony didn't need Peter is what I should be taking from this. Actually, I think they show Ant-Man grabbing his one guy, so maybe because Peter was able to stop Ant-Man, or we actually don't know what happened. Maybe Iron Man straight won that one, or maybe the freaking, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I would legit want to know what happened in Civil War now. Dune almost hung himself. Pinata, Sokovia Accords. Let's see, got beat him up like a pinata. One bad day at one point. Like he said, well, we don't need superheroes right now. That's one bad day. Pretty much, Norman says he's trying to build the new generation of superheroes. And I'm like, all right. Damn, everyone turned around. Oh yeah, Lonnie's now working for Big Don, and at one point he goes to like a rival gang's like turf to buy some Mexican food, and he's like, "Oh, I'm here for Big Don." Everyone in that shop look back like, "What the hell?" And eventually he gets back. He almost gets jumped. Gets back. It turns Big Don did that so that way the other group can know that Lonnie's with him. That way he has to stay with the gang. And Big Don straight tells him, like, look, I protect my city. I protect this. Without me, you wouldn't be having any, like, your city would be destroyed. Like, your family wouldn't be able to live here and all this other stuff. Pretty much, like, trying to say he's the better of two evils, I guess. Because apparently the Scorpion, who is the one who runs the other gang, is much worse. Also, it seems I misspoke. The symbol, that infinity symbol kind of thing, it's not for Oscorp, which I thought originally was, but no, it's for Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus. And also, I should have kind of guessed when you saw like the things kind of look like tentacle arms kind of reaching out around it. I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. And it's like Otto Octavius, so the infinity symbol is actually OO. So yeah, he's the one doing it, which also still really stupid. He's leaving his symbol on all those items. But then again, maybe he's just trying to going, oh, well, you see, they were stolen a long time. They were stolen and, they're just turning up now. I don't know what's going on with that. But hey, investors, do you see all the crazy shit these guys can do? Or hey, other supervillains, see all the crazy shit my tech can do? Maybe pay me thousands of dollars and I can give you that stuff. Which, like, there was stuff like, what is the Bonnie and Clyde, was it gauntlets, where, like, Bonnie had, like, these gloves that made her strong and could have energy blades, while Clyde had these super boots to make him run super fast. And I'm like, alright, that's pretty sick. Let's see, one bad day. And Norman also helping him out, too, is really cool. I don't know, I like Peter not having to worry too much about money. I just hate money storylines in general. But, like, I like Norman helping Peter out with all this stuff. Mind you, again, Norman is manipulating the shit out of him. But again, I like Peter having backup with certain things. I like that. It's funny that also Norman is his guy in the chair. Spider Drone. He makes fun of Spider Drone. It's like, really? CrossFit, you should give an introduction. I already know. Oh yeah, at one point, I think when Lonnie breaks in to get his brother out of there, he goes in there and then Big Don's like, aren't you not coming in here without an introduction? And he's like, oh, I'm lying. It's like, I already know who you are. And it's like, Why the hell did you ask for an introduction, idiot? Peter learning he needs help. Yeah, Peter learned that he needs help, which, cool. Well, different suits run to focus group. Also, like, a lot of the suits were run through focus groups for Norman. And I'm like, okay. Again, Norman is trying to appease to the people, where Tony was simply trying to help Peter. Again, difference. Again, like Norman, like Peter says, I don't know if I'll be able to live up to your expectations. And Norman's like, don't worry, you will. He's like, I'll help you lead to that. Where Tony's like, you just be you. You be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and you be better than me. Like, that's the difference between these two dads. Like, God, I feel like Tony would, just beat the shit out of Norman. Mentor, shows why Tony, Scorpion gang leader, One Bad Day, Rhino, screw Harry, Harry was there, yeah. Alright, but I'll say this is pretty good. I liked it a lot. I probably missed some things, so please tell me in the comments below. This show is pretty decent. I am liking it a lot. Also, I realized I like these two episodes probably a little bit more because we're not dealing with Peter trying to yank another dude's girl, and again, it's showing how him not being alone is better than him just being alone. Like, I don't know, I like that him, like, I want him to build, his friends also on top of everything else. I don't know. So everything else, well, build his friend group of everyone who's going to be helping with all this. I'm excited to see where this goes. Thanks for watching your videos. Hopefully enjoy this. I'm definitely going to check out more. I'll probably watch the next 2 episodes and before I stream like in an hour. But thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Pretty decent. But don't forget what Disney's doing. By God, don't.